What's up, everyone? Chase Owens here, Bullet Club member, and you are watching the IHJW Wrestling Podcast with Nelson, Craig, and Keish. And I promise you, it's going to be just too sweet.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of IHJW Wrestling Podcasting. Of course, I am Keish, and something a little bit different today. So I am reviewing, sorry I'm messing around with some stuff, I'm reviewing the end of the Super Juniors and World Tag League for New Japan. Basically, these are who's going to be in the finals for December 11th, and the points that everyone, almost everyone's points and what they finished off with, but basically what happened on the last night, the second to last night of the Super Juniors. So let's get started. We have Robbie Eagles versus Yuya Yomura. Basically, Young Lion versus Robbie Eagles. Very solid match. The Young Lion was really, really good. Really good. Like, they were saying, basically, this is his graduation for being able to participate in this tournament. And though Robbie Eagles gets the win on here, and Yamura ends 0 points, he had a really good showing. He brought everyone to basically the breaking point. Unfortunately, was not able to get a win. So 0 points for him, 8 points for Robbie Eagles. I believe they said Robbie Eagles was the MVP of the tournament. I know there was a lot of good matches between the main three guys, which is Desperado, Hiromu, and Taishi Mori. So I need to go check those out. But next one we have Evil and Bad Luck Valet and Chase Owens versus Evil and Yujiro Takahashi. Basically, this is a throwaway match. Nothing really happens. It's Bullet Club going after Bullet Club. If you don't know, when Bullet Club face each other, it's usually just shenanigans. Nothing really intense happens. Basically. So Yujiro actually says Peter's coming back, so that's his escort. That usually comes out with him. She's not been back. So same as Miho Abe with Taichi. But he tried to trick Owens to doing that. There's a lot of like underhanded stuff. You had an Eddie Guerrero moment, and even Gato actually trying to use the fiber wire to choke out Yujiro. Oh, sorry, not Yujiro. Chase Owens. But Chase Owens knocks off Gato using Yujiro. So he pushes Yujiro into Gato. Is it Gato? Oh, sorry, Dick Togi. I'm tripping. Pushes Yujiro into Togi, and he gets a roll-up win with his feet on the rope. Both the Bullet Club, both teams end 6 points. Nothing too amazing in the first two matches. No big stakes, of course. We have Doki versus Taguchi. Taguchi, I guess the biggest part for him is that he was stuck on 69 wins for the Super Junior tournaments. Then they were making innuendo jokes. Whatever. Doki actually attacked Taguchi before the match with the pipe. Taguchi does a lot of I wish I got into New Japan earlier, because Taguchi, when he wants to wrestle like seriously, he'll wrestle seriously, and it's pretty amazing. But he does stuff like he does a top rope tope, super clean like. Then he does a springboard hip attack. I'm like, okay. Taguchi's been doing this all tournament where when someone tries to do a sunset flip on Taguchi, he pulls down his pants and sits on them. Yeah, that's what he does, using the funky weapon. Bare funky weapon. Well, he was not fully bare. He just pulled down his tights to show his underwear, which, yeah, Christmas colors are red. What can you say? Taguchi hits ankle lock into his Daguan, which is basically I believe, is Beth Phoenix's move. So it's a face buster, underhook face buster, for the 1, 2, 3. So Taguchi gets a 7 win. Doki, I think he doesn't end even. I think he ends 2 or 3 wins below 500. Which basically, if you have 8 wins, that means you won 4 and lost 4. I think to Doki you lost 6. Funny note, Doki has the Doki lock, They call it the Doki Choki or the Choki Doki, and I will not love not saying that. So if you want to do the Doki Choki or the Doki Choki or Choki Doki, yeah, it's stupid. All right, let's get to the name with the Doki Choki. We have Tanahashi versus Hinare versus God. Oh, sorry, Tanahashi and Hinare versus God. Basically, God needed to win this match to get into the finals, or to have a chance to get in the finals. They won this match. I didn't know this. Hinare and Tanahashi were the first team eliminated. They actually ended the tournament with only 2 wins. And they were saying that basically Tanahashi was, just like when he was with Ibushi, he was basically the weaker tag team. Hinare had to go 2-on-1 most of the time, and he had a great showing as the powerhouse of the group, but at the end of this match, actually, let me tell you at the end. So while Tanahashi has Tonga Loa in a cloverleaf, Tonga had Tama Tonga in the cloverleaf. Tonga Loa hits Tanahashi with the kendo stick from Jado. Then from there, Tonga Loa actually puts Tanahashi into the sharpshooter, and he taps out. God ends in 12 points to the first team to 12 points, but Tanahashi and Hinare ended in 2. And there's a lot of doubts. This is the year of basically confidence for Tanahashi because he's the ace. He has no Wrestle Kingdom match this year. He's not in the he didn't get into the finals. He didn't win the G1. So he's outside looking in, going to Wrestle Kingdom, and he doesn't have a match. And I don't know how or where he's going to get that match. And he has a messed up knee. He's a kayfabe or not, I don't know. I remember when he faced Suzuki-gun, I think it was 2 years ago, and he had a messed up knee. I don't know where they can go for him. I don't know who he's going to face, or if anyone's going to come up to face him. But as of right now, yeah, Tanahashi doesn't have a match at Wrestle Kingdom, and that's saying something. That's like John Cena not having a match and John Cena being on the roster for WrestleMania. But all in all, God gets 12 points and hopefully has their way to the finals. A lot of teams have to lose for them to get in the finals, but we'll get to that point when we get to that point. We have Master Watu versus Hiramu. They're taking Time Bomb. Hiramu has 12. Master Watu has 8. Basically, the story of this match was the newcomer Master Watu taking chances and not being totally solidified to his moveset. Before the match, Taichi and Desperado said the same thing about Watu, that when he's winning the match, he'll take random chances, or when he's losing the match, he'll take random chances, then that will cost him the match. He doesn't really do anything risky. He just gets caught. He gets caught a lot of times. There was a like a scary part for this. So there's a botched sunset flip going to the outside. So Watu is on the middle rope on the apron. Hiramu basically sunset flips and try to powerbomb to the outside apron, and they fall sideways. It was kind of scary because it looked like Hiramu's knee buckled, and then Watu actually fell on his head on the side, so it fell on his shoulder and fell on his head. It was pretty scary. Watu has some crazy ass moves. They were able to continue, of course. That's how New Japan is. He does a lot of corkscrew moonsaults and front flips. Pretty sick, and he is very skilled with kicking. Basically, at the end of the match, Watu misses a front flipping corkscrew, and he reverses Time Bomb 1 and tries to get to a pin, Hiramu puts him back up, puts him through the Time Bomb 2, and pins him 1, 2, 3. Hiramu has 14 points, which is guaranteeing him a spot in the finals. We just need to find out who is the other person. And Watu ends in 8. So he ends basically 4 for 4. 4 wins, 4 losses. But he looked good. In this match, I said a lot of drugs about Master Watu. He's not solidified yet for me, but he had a good showing, at least. This is the match I was surprised and I really liked, for sure. You have Jeff Cobb and the Great-O-Khan versus Sonata and Shingo. So the new empire of Ospreay versus LIJ. Dude, the Empire attacks Lij even before Lij even picks a person to start the match. Cobb is throwing Shingo around like Shingo was a freaking Super Junior. I've never seen Shingo fly around like that. Cobb is just insane. If you've not seen Jeff Cobb, watch Jeff Cobb. Like, he's an amazing wrestler, and all his moves are dope. And the Great Okan, he he was doing judo throws and not judo chops, just how he transitions from to lock to a judo throw, an arm throw or a hip throw. Oh man, it's smooth. It's better than smooth. It's buttery smooth, like warm butter on bread smooth. I liked Okan before this. Now he's up there. Like him starting with Okada, I thought Okada would make them look good, but now he's freaking good. There's a spot where Okan shows disrespect by hanging. Basically, he puts Shingo on the top, laying on the top rope. So he's still on the ring. He just puts Shingo's face on the top turnbuckle and spreads his arms out, and then sits on top of him and counts Sanada come in, which is sick. Let's see. Sanada arranged into the turnbuckle by team. So oh man. So Sanada tags in and he beats the double team from the Empire. He actually gets Khan in the Paradise Lock, which is arms crossed, knees crossed, and he just leaves Khan in the ring and hits Cobb with a jumping over the top rope crossbody. Another spot on this match was that both Shingo and Sanada actually hit both Dragon Sleepers, and they were holding it, though at the end, unfortunately, neither man tapped out. And then you have dropkick backtrip combo, which is, let's see, Shingo set up for a backdrop, and Sanada would drop kick the guy he's holding it into the drop. It was smooth because it seemed like it didn't hit, then Shingo lifted him. It seemed like while Shingo was lifting him, Sanada him in the dropkick. So there's a lot of like nuances in tag team stuff, at least for these two, because they've never really tag teamed before, since Sonata's been tagging with Evo for so long. So they made it seem very, very smooth for these two guys. And there's more judo stuff for Khan. He looks like super sick. Shingo gets a hot tag. Catches Cobb's, but Shingo gets a hot tag. He beats down Cobb, but while Shingo's going off and he goes for his sliding lariat, he catches Shingo, and I was like, what is going on? He catches Shingo, and he throws him in an exploder suplex. I was like, what is going on? Then Cobb and Khan literally go back and forth doing gut wreck suplexes and power bombs to Sanada. So Cobb has Shingo doing gut wreck power slams and power bombs, where Okan is doing the same thing to Sanada. The end of the match was this. Sanada gets the claw chuck slam from Okan. Then, as he hits Sanada, as he lays out Sanada, Shingo gets a pumping bomber on Khan. He misses, eats a big boot. The big boot turns into Tour of the Islands, and the Empire win. I was surprised because it was super clean. There was nothing like tricky about this match. Like, there was no Ospreay, no cheating, no weapons, and the Empire and Lij ended in 10 points. But Okan looked hella strong, and at the end of the match, Jeff Cobb took Shingo's belt and says, "I'm coming for this Wrestle Kingdom." So Shingo has an opponent for Wrestle Kingdom, and it's going to be a really good match. I'm loving this Jeff Cobb now. The happy-go-lucky Jeff Cobb was working for me, but this Jeff Cobb is just like, he's just tossing fools around, and he makes it look easy. It's freakishly easy. We have Ishimori versus Sho, and Ishimori is just amazing. Before the match, people argue Ishimori was mad that most of the main events for this Super Junior tournament was Hiramu. I think he had only one main event, and he's the champion. He is the champion. This is a solid match. I fully like. you can tell, like, when I'm into a match, either take too many notes or I don't take notes at all. This is one of the matches I don't take notes at all. Show is a beast, and it shows, and it shows. He does a lot of stuff really well as a singles competitor, and he's that guy that, though he's in the tag team with Yo, he can hold his own. He can hella hold his own on how he carries himself. And Ishimori is a champion. He's proven. He was in TNA for so long. He was their champion. I think the X Division champion too. And he just does it so well. Ishimori lands on his feet on the apron. So this is what happens. This is the first 5 minutes. So I'm gonna try to explain what happens the first 5 minutes. Ishimori, Sho tries to German suplex Ishimori onto the apron, on the side apron. He flips over, lands on his feet, picks up Sho and power drives Sho into the side apron. I was like, what is going on? Then Sho kicks Ishimori in the arm on a springboard rebound. So as Ishimori is running to the rope, he flips over to do a springboard elbow. Sho catches him and kicks him while he's upside down in the arm. And I was like, what? Ishimori hits a basically sunset destroyer. So he does the sunset flip, but he ends up in the destroyer position and does it to Sho. Then Sho comes back up and does a snap suplex into for Ishimori. Then Sho does a package pile driver. And that was the first 5 minutes. It was just bang, 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 bang. I was like, what is going on? These guys can go. It was a quick 12-minute match, and it's saying something. But Ishimori gets the better of Sho. First, he gets an inverted bloody cross, then hits the normal bloody cross for the win. And Ishimori ends with 14 points. Sho ends with 12. I guess we've not been really keeping up with New Japan news so far, but Sho did lose a brother, and it looked like it sucked for him because he thought he could win this and all stuff. And I thought he was my pick. Sho was my pick. I thought Sho was going to be he'll get his chance in the sun because Okada doesn't have a belt. Most of Chaos only has a never openweight belts, and his partner Yo is actually out with a knee injury, so they're not going after those Super Junior weight tag team championships in a while. Hopefully Yo can come back soon, but Sho, he knows he can. Man, he's so good in match. But Ishimori just shows why he's champion and why he has the tag team, why he has the Super Junior title, and why he beat Hiromu for it. We have a comedy match between Ishii, Yano versus the Tekkers, which is, of course, Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi. Yano, before the match, Yano had the longest intro, and I think they talked about his title, his cookbook, his DVD, and everything else. It was 4 minutes until they said Ishii, and Ishii's like, and the Pitbull Ishii. I was like, all right. Before the match started, Yano uses the turnbuckle and hits Taichi, but then hits Ishii mistakenly. I think in the beginning of the match, before the first 2 minutes are up, there was 7 roll-ups by Zack Sabre Jr. and Yano. And I like this because the comedy stuff was being done by Yano and Zack Sabre Jr., which is pretty fun. And Zack Sabre Jr., though he's not known for comedy wrestling and all that stuff, he buys into Yano, which is pretty funny. Zack Sabre Jr. rolls Yano into the ring skirt. So basically, think of Yano being rolled up like a burrito, but using the ring skirt. It was, I was like, he was stuck there. I think he was actually stuck because Ishii actually tried to throw him back into the ring, and Ishii threw him into the ring. And I was like, what is going on? It's man, it's good. I love when it's always a good change of pace when Yano's wrestling. Yano's getting stomped. While Yano gets out of his burrito, the Tekkers actually get advantage some more, and they put Yano in the bottom turnbuckle, and they're both stepping on him. Red Shoes is counting to 5, and then as he gets to 4, and he hits 5, Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi put their hands up, breaking the hold. And he's like, what? And they keep asking Richie, what do you want us to break? And he keeps pointing at the feet, and he puts the hands back on there. Both put the hands back on the top rope and start choking him again. And then they put their hands up to break the count. They're looking at us like, what do you want us to break? It's always good. Yana's in the ring. Always good. Taichi, once Ishii and Taichi get in the ring, is a lot more serious. You have Taichi with his brutal kicks, which we had a kicking match between Ibushi and Taichi. So if you've not seen that match, which was my match of the year, as well as Ishii with his chops. Let's see, you have a Michinoku driver and super kick for the win. Then actually no, you almost have the Michinoku driver and super kick. So Zack Sabre Jr. used the Michinoku driver, made famous by Taka Michinoku, who has his own wrestling promotion in Japan. While Taichi super kicks, I believe it was Ishii in the head. He gets a 2 there. Then they do the Mastifio for the win. So basically, I think it's a side neckbreaker power bomb, basically. So Zack Sabre Jr. jumps up and power drives him down. So a side necker power driver. That's the better way to say it. The Tekkers win, but they're not in only if Yoshihashi and Goto. Hiroki Goto win the last match, which is the main event was Spinjuice versus Goto and Yoshihashi. We have Bushi versus Desperado, really good match. These two have been wrestling against each other for the last few years because of the tag team. When Shingo was tagged with Ibushi, it was against Desperado and Takahashi. And it was good. Desperado uses a pen on Ibushi. He takes a pen from the announcers and just tries to stab Bushi in the eye. Bushi hits a DDT on the apron the other way around. I was like, what is going on? Then there's a crazy amount of just suicide dives. We have knees to the face into the destroyer for a 2 count, which is for Ibushi. I was like, so he does the Meteora, then does basically destroy, and it was a 2 count. I was like, what? And I thought he would win this, but Desperado, what he's been winning with was a stretch muffler, and he does it in a different way, what he's been doing. So he gets him in the stretch muffler, then he finds a way to grab Ibushi's arms, and so Ibushi can't move at all now. He's just in the stretch muffler, and that's how Ibushi loses. He taps out, and he doesn't tap out. The Red Shoes actually calls the match because he can't do anything in that position. So Desperado's in the finals. He calls out Hiramu because who is also the finalist. They show face to face. Hiramu says, "Let's show our history. Let's show our history in the next match." So your finals for the Super Juniors is Hiramu versus Desperado. I thought it was going to be Desperado versus Ishimori, but why would you have the champion in the finals? I'm happy with these two guys. Desperado, who missed last year's because of a broken jaw, and Hiramu, who is actually, I would say, is the MVP of New Japan as of right now. He's competed in all the tournaments. He faced heavyweights and faced Evil in a very good match. So Hiramu got some. He's close to being my definitely my wrestler of the year. Even in the time frame for the Super Juniors, he, I think, had a total over 3 hours of ring time comparatively to everyone else. It was like 3 hours of wrestling, but he was main event for each one, so it makes sense. And we get to the main event, Finjuice versus Goto and Yoshihashi. Yoshihashi has had the greatest year of his career so far, because I remember watching Yoshihashi the last few years. He was always basically the guy who gets pinned in chaos, and 0 points in tournaments, 0 points, never really getting anywhere with tag team titles, or the never weight over 6-man tag team titles. But he's a champion. He has a never openweight championship with Ishii and Goto, and though he didn't have the wins in G1, he had classic matches. So Yoshihashi's been really good, and in this match, he was the stronger one with Goto. He was the main guy getting basically all the offense off. comparatively. Then FinJuice, of course, who was last year's champion, last year's winners of the of the Tag League. But Yoshihashi does really well. He even counters double teams. While he was supposed to be double teamed by FinJuice, he basically counters them. The end of the match says GYR, which is I believe, Magic Killer, but person lands on it. So we do. They set up for a Magic Killer. So legs on one person's feet, on one person's body, on one person's shoulders. The other person has the head. And what the GYR is that what they do is the person with has the feet stays standing, and the person who has the head literally brings his neck down to his knee. So it's just an awkward, crazy landing. Then they try to set up for the GYW, which is the inverted version of the GYR. Finley saves Finn from that. Finley saves Juice from that. Finley spears Hiroki Goto and then hits a Uranagi backbreaker on Yoshihashi. You get a superplex splash from FinJuice. So he superplexes Yoshihashi from the top rope. Then Finley superplexes Yoshihashi on the top rope. Then Juice does basically a frog splash from another top rope and only gets a 2. Actually, that was on Goto, and he gets a 2. But the ending of the match was that Finley hits a stunner, then a right hand of the god, then Pulp Friction on Goto. So it was a lot of single finishers that took down Goto. Goto gets pinned, 1, 2, 3, and FinJuice is in the finals, and they hopefully get to maybe repeat. And with their win and beating Goto and Yoshihashi, GOD's in the finals as well. GOD attacks FinJuice, and Tongaloa puts Finley in a crossface, while Tomatonga puts Juice in a sharpshooter. And Jado just cuts a promo and saying, though you are the former winners, you are not the headlines of this tag team tournament. It is GOD. So the centerpiece, the vocal point, the main event about this whole point, and the whole point of this whole tournament is welcome GOD back. So be ready for Friday where, GOD looks to win one of the few accolades left for them to win in New Japan, which is winning the Tag League, then getting a win at Wrestle Kingdom. So we have our finals now. We have GOD versus FinJuice and Hiramu versus Desperado. Desperado for sure, he was a very good favorite. I didn't think Hiramu was going to do it. I thought they're going to give him a break, but he gets a match. Then I don't know what's going to happen for Hiramu from there. We have Shingo with a match against Cobb. We don't know what Great Khan's doing. There's a lot of things after all of this. There's a lot of good questions. What happens with Tanahashi? What happens with Sonata? What happens with Hiramu if he doesn't win? And that's it. It's just really weird. Those are the main names: Sonata, Tanahashi, and Hiramu. They seem like they don't have a match for Wrestle Kingdom, and I'll be ashamed if they don't. Hopefully they find a way to have a match, but there's not a lot of time left before January 4th and 5th, so let's see what happens, but that's about it. This was a long event, guys. This is 10 matches. This is 4 hours, but I watched all 4 hours. I watched it live. That's the only thing with New Japan. Once you're in New Japan, if you really do like wrestling and just like storylines, other than the Bad Luck Fale and the Villa Club tag team match, and if you don't like the weirdness of Taguchi using his butt as a weapon, all these matches are solid. It kind of sucks that we had a tough time following this as a podcast, but we're here now. Like I said, we're getting through all the nooks and crannies. We're trying to set up times for all of us to watch these and review them. For sure, we'll watch. I'm watching the last night. I'll see if I can convince my crew if you can watch it live. If not, you'll be watching it live with me. Of course, I won't be streaming it. I hope that you guys get your own membership for IJW World, New Japan Wrestling World. It is a great subscription. This is the best time to subscribe because you get the Super Juniors and Tag League finale, which is Friday, and you can rewatch all of that. You can rewatch all of G1. Then by the time in a few more weeks, you have Wrestle Kingdom, which is their WrestleMania, and lucky for them, they have crowds, and it does feel different. And I'm so appreciative for them having crowds. But hey, guys, watch this night. We're ready for Friday night. Or Friday night, Saturday night for us. For them, it's Saturday night because Japan and America, whatever. After that, you guys have a good day, good night, good whatever. Please be safe, take care of each other, and